The Grand Slam Club Ovis recognizes specific species, specific herds in specific areas, and awards hunters for successfully harvesting a select amount of those animals and species. And so there's checkpoints along the way, but the grandfather of all those awards is the Super Slam, and that's harvesting all 29 big game animals in North America. The 25 is just sub below that, Super 25, and that's taking out a few species, polar bear, muskox, a few things like that. And then the Super 10 is kind of your checkpoint. It's kind of a unique one because it's not completing all of them, but one of the subspecies of each category. So deer, elk, moose, pronghorn, mountain goat, wild sheep, bison or muskox, caribou, and a few others. So to harvest one of those from each of those categories will complete your Super 10. And the bison was my Super 10. We are in Sonora, Mexico. Our journey into hunting has led us here. How I got started was with my father and my uncles. They started toting me around in their backpacks, archery elk hunting and rifle elk and deer hunting all around Oregon. At the age of 6, 7 years old, I started. And Kate started with her family as well.
I grew up hunting and never really shot the animals, just always went. And then I met Marcus and he started taking me.
So we spend a lot of time together hunting. It is one of our favorite things to do, be outdoors, whether that's hunting, hiking, spending time with our dog. We are running around the Sonoran Desert and up in these mountains all around us, looking for goose deer and bison. The bison herds here are free-range fair chase in Mexico, and you wouldn't expect them to be like a normal style prairie bison. We found bison on the tops of these mountains and had to hike many miles to get in on top of them and see where they live, check them out, find a big bull, and get after it. I've been here for 7 days now. Kate got in 2 days ago for the bison portion of the hunt. My goose deer hunt was successful. We spent a lot of time behind our glass, a lot of time on ridges, running ridges and glassing a lot. Turned up a nice buck across a canyon and cut some distance and got into about 490 yards. Waited for the wind to die down. Deer got out of his bed and waited for him to clear for a broadside shot. And one shot and he was done. And then we made it over to the bison area and I got to finally meet up with my wife as she flew in.
Yesterday was a wild day. We didn't expect to shoot anything really. We were just gonna go scout for bison and then ended up seeing some javelina. So we got in the rig and tried to get down a little closer, started glassing for them, couldn't find them. So we had gotten to a point where we were gonna give up and focus again on the bison and started heading back down the mountain, and all of a sudden javelina popped up right across the road. So we jump out of the truck and then they took off down a canyon and there was probably 6 or 8 of them. So we hop out and go running and wait for them to come back up on the other side of the canyon, and then I was able to get a shot. Missed my first shot, but was able to get a second shot. It was pretty exciting, and then it was a lot of work to get down that canyon and back up the other side to pick it up, but we made it happen.
That straight pull did the work. The hog hunter actually starting to knock down some hogs here south of the border, so we will get this javelina taken care of and head back to the ranch house and then continue on our bison hunt. But good job, honey.
Thanks.
Bison work their way up to these plateaus on the top of these mountains, and we know that you got to get on top of them to be able to harvest one. You can't hunt them from the bottom. They're very wary, very smart animals. So we ended up hiking our butts off, running ridges. We put on about 8 miles yesterday in the middle of the day, 82 degrees. And this is their winter time down here. So we spent a lot of time walking steadily. And it's something I've learned throughout my time hunting is you learn from your mistakes. You got to play your wind, and wind is a factor here. These animals here spook very easily. Your wind will switch up on you. So when we're running these ridge tops yesterday, our wind was switching from up to down often. So we had to move from one side of the mountain to the other. And we spent 2.5, 3 hours just on ridge top trying to get a clear shot. They're big animals, but they can get up and go. So it's interesting to see them act here compared to how I've seen them act in other parts of the lower 48. This herd is intelligent. On the right. I made a clean 4 shots on the bull through that straight pull. Just slugged him every shot right in the vitals, and it takes a lot for these animals to go down humanely. So I cleared the gun on him, and as soon as that happened, the emotional aspect of it was really overwhelming for me, because this hunt with the bison completes my Super 10.
Hey, Tom.
That's 10.
Talk to me, man. It's fresh.
I'm shaking, man.
What just happened?
We just shot a bison, free range, Sonora, Mexico, with Dylan and Nick with Mesquite Mountain Outfitters. God, what an experience. You wouldn't expect these bison to be where they are. And it wasn't easy. I mean, we cut some distance in vehicle, but I mean, we've been hiking ridgeline for a couple hours now. For my watch click a couple times, so yeah, 2.5 hours we've just been hiking, gaining elevation continuously. So finally got on them, spotted these 2 bison this morning, nice bulls, and yeah, I don't know what to say. Thank you guys. We did it. We did it. What's next? We got a lot of work to do. I could think of being grateful for the animal we harvest and the meat we're going to take home with us, as well as, you know, I completed a checkpoint in my journey. And so that was huge. And to spend that with my wife was even greater. You know, I couldn't imagine a better hunting partner.
What a monster.
The work aspect of it, I mean, we had 260 yards to hike down of pure death.
Yeah, that was some of the hardest stuff.
Yeah, going down that on loose footings, climbing through ocotillos and cactus, and everything in Sonora has a thorn and you'll catch it. So it's rough country. So we finally got down to that bison, and by the time we were about done field dressing half of the bison, we had the cowboys ride up. I'm used to field dressing animals in the field by ourselves and packing it out, taking a couple trips, but we had the assistance of the cowboys here, and they rode up with horses and grain bags, and they pulled out knives and got to work. They were extremely used to breaking down an animal in the field. The mass of a bison, especially the bison I harvested, is just enormous. So to see, you know, 4 guys working on one animal and holding legs and cutting quarters and taking back straps out that are 5 feet long, it was a lot of work. The next steps on the journey, I don't know, we've been talking about it. It's really to go back and look at the 29 and kind of assess physicality. And then what can happen, you know, immediate, and what's gonna take some time. And the items that are gonna take time and the animals that are gonna take time are really the animals I have to draw a tag for and figure out when we can do those. I continue to go on these hunts and do these things and continue my journey. It's almost like an addiction. You know, you love the ups and downs, the emotional roller coaster, the physicality, how hard it is, and testing yourself as a person physically. mentally and emotionally, and doing it as a couple even, you know, supporting each other through this, helping each other along the way, keeping each other in good spirits. You know, that's what takes me to the next hunt, is knowing that I get to have another experience just like this the next time we go. And also continuously put meat in our freezer and feeding our families.
Our family definitely benefits from us continuing to hunt, and it's just good for your mind, good for your soul.
Yeah. The bison that we harvested on this trip is fueling a hunting economy down here, as well as in the United States, filling our freezer, and the old bull that we harvested is making way for a new bull to step up and start reproducing, and hopefully that will help grow this herd so other hunters can come down here and have the same experience that we had. That's my main motivations and why I continue to hunt. I'm not done, and we're not done. We continue on to the next hunt.